other of us, and it's called Concerned CRAs. So he's going to take, we're going to give him a timer of 2.5 minutes.
Oh.
So he doesn't pull it off.
Pull it off? What do you mean? About a year ago, this time about a year ago, 3 CRAs got together and we were discussing some of the problems in our industry as we saw them. And there were 2 that stood out to us that we really felt like if we didn't do something about these and really start trying to change the industry, it was going to get changed for us through legislation. And those 2 issues were the unnecessary offshoring of personal identifying information and how criminal records databases were being used in the employment context. And we're talking about both of these in the employment context. And so we said, well, how do we do this? Because the National Association has members who participate in both, who do these things, and so they really aren't in a position to take a position on these issues. But how do we kind of build a grassroots movement among the CRA community, at least on the employment side, to try and address these? And we designed an informal collaboration of consumer reporting agencies in the employment-related area. It's called Concerned CRAs. And we basically have a very brief manifesto on the website that says, this is what we believe about offshoring of personal identifying information. First of all, it shouldn't be done unless it's necessary in the case of an international verification. I mean, obviously, if there's some PII that's needed to verify an a degree out of Bangalore, then you probably have to send it. But just for cost savings, sending information offshore so that a call center in India can do your verifications less expensively, probably not a good idea. But if you are going to do it, then at least the consumer should know before their information goes off-site. So the employer, client, or the CRA should make a disclosure to that consumer that, hey, we're going to send your information offshore where the privacy protection and personal information protection laws may not be as strong as in the U.S. So that was our first position. And our second one was on the use of criminal records databases. And basically what we said is Section 613 of the SCRA gives you 2 choices. You can do contemporaneous notification where you send information, you send at the same time that you report a public record to an employer, you give it to the consumer. That's perfectly legally compliant if you do that. The alternative is to verify all records before you report them to the employer. And we said, well, what's going to happen is some senator's daughter is not going to get a job because the information in the database is incorrect. I mean, we all know there are incorrect and incomplete records in these databases. And they from time to time, assign records to the wrong consumer. If you go through a verification process, you knock out 99.9% of those errors. And so we think that's the best consumer protection possibility, and it keeps that senator's daughter from losing that job and deciding it's time to modify the CRA, and then we're all hosed, because they never fix just the one problem in the law. They go and start changing everything, and the next thing you know, we've got health care reform. So, so that was our second position, except for the health care reform part. So that was our second position. To join Concerned CRAs, all you do, and it's not even a join, it's not a membership. You're an affiliated, you're collaborating with us, and you get to use our logo. That's the tangible benefit, is you get the Concerned CRAs logo you can put on your materials. All you do is fill out on our website, concernedcras.com, you fill out the self-certification saying my company agrees with these positions, and this is our operating practice 100% of the time in the employment-related context. And you fax that into us, and we'll put your logo on our website and give you the logo so that you can put it on yours. The intangible benefit is knowing that you're working to correct, what you see as a problem, and a lot of us see as a problem in the industry. We've got about 120 CRAs now who are participating, including some of the big ones, Carco, Verifications Inc., people like that, and then a lot of little microbrewery CRAs like mine, and we've had We've initiated conversations inside of the Federal Trade Commission because of our existence and our positions. We're seeing CRAs change their positions because they call us, or they fax in their certification documents, and we call them and talk to them about what we believe and what the certifications mean, and they're like, oh, we didn't realize anybody else believed that. Well, we'll change our practices today. And so we're seeing, and that's what we were hoping for, that we could softly and gently and sweet and lovably change people's opinions about this. We also hope that employers, when they start to look at RFPs and figure out who their next screening partner is going to be, that they will stumble across the CRAs.com and say, okay, these are people who we should probably be talking to because it looks like they're a little bit more concerned about doing things right. So CRAs.com, please. I'd love to talk to you if you've got any other questions about it, but it's pretty straightforward. And the forms are online. You fill it out and just fax it in, and usually in a day or two we'll have everything back to you. It's all volunteer. There's no fees or anything. 2 or 3 of us are financing what few costs there are. Thanks a lot.
Also,
Oh, Leanne had a question? I'm sorry.
How'd you know that?
She's a concerned CRA.
I know all. I see all.
Mr. Coffey,
Yeah.
really quickly, we've always verified information rather than doing it contemporaneous notice. Do you know format though, or is there something that's existence that is in that form should be able to sign use that? I've never seen a letter.
Contemporaneous notification. Y'all got one built into TazWorks, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've never even looked.
There is one built into the software.
Okay, good.
I've never looked at it, but
Yeah, they need one. We always have verified.
yeah, we always verify it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a case in Dallas County where a guy who was who'd been sentenced to life for murder. The Innocence Project proved that he was innocent. He was pardoned by the governor of Texas in 2005, and then late last year lost his job as a security guard because the database reported that conviction. It was expunged. It wasn't on the county's record. It had been on the county's record for 3 years, and it was still floating around in the databases. And what happens, especially with expungements, is it's expunged, and so it doesn't exist legally as far as the county's. So there's no update, even if the database does do updates. When they get the new set of records, there's nothing to flag it in the system. So, but we see all kinds of errors, and y'all do too. They're great tools, and I hate to ever sell a background check without a criminal records database, but we verify every single one of them before our client sees it. Any other questions? Thanks a lot. Who applauses that way?
until lunchtime, we're going to be spending time to kind of break apart. I'm going to get